Hey everyone, Casey here with Wellbeing Connections, and I want to thank you for joining me for today's huddle, where we talk about balanced harmony, aligning work, life, and well-being. So let's get into it here. I'm going to pull up my screen to share, and we will jump in. As always, we like to start with a little breathing exercise or an activity to pause to just bring us into the present moment. Today, we are going to use some tempo breathing where we inhale for a count of 4 and exhale for a count of 4. So close your eyes. If that feels right for you, maybe adjust, find a comfortable position, and let's get to it. So as you inhale, breathe in through your nose for a count of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and exhale through your nose or your mouth for that same count of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's complete 4 more rounds of that. Inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, and exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, and exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, and exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. One more round here. We inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, and exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. I invite you to take a pause. Notice what, if anything, changed in just those few brief moments of connecting with your breath and allowing yourself to tune into the present moment. So, as we get started today, we're talking about kind of that elusive balance word, aligning our work, life, and well being. So, balance is this feeling that we're maybe chasing. It's that ability to do it all, to fit in the to-dos, the action items, the work things, the home things, the personal life things, and maybe even sneak in a little quiet time for ourselves, right? And it's often that we find ourselves wondering, is this something we can actually accomplish? Or is this some sort of myth or legend out there that we all have hopes of reaching one day, but have never, ever quite mastered? And unfortunately, actual balance, everything being equal, is maybe something that has more in common with myths or legends. But one word we like to use here at Wellbeing Connections is harmony. So, where we can bring this harmony of how our daily rhythms and routines ebb and flow for those responsibilities and things that we want to do to move ourselves in a way to help our well-being feel balanced, even though sometimes that doesn't always look, 50-50-50 across the board. When we maybe make those small shifts in our day-to-day rhythms, identify our priorities, manage our stress, and use resilience, those are the things that are going to help us achieve this balance, or what we like to call harmony. So let's get into it. One of the first things that we are going to do is by creating a daily rhythm and routine. So, how does that day to day operate? We need that to be in alignment with our priorities. And this is something, in theory, maybe we all have this vision for what this would look like. But do we really always have that clarity on what those priorities are? So, starting by really getting solid on what those priorities are is our step one in the process of kind of moving towards our ideal harmony, balancing work, life, and well being. Now, this also helps us manage our stress because we know then how to spend our time that's in alignment with those priorities. So, as we start to dig into our priorities, step one is identifying what your vision is. Where do you want to go? What do you want your life to look like? How do you want it to feel? Who is around you? Really allowing yourself that full process and time to create and visualize how you want your life to look in 6 months, a year, 5 years, 10 years down the road. And once you've taken time to fully develop your vision, your individual vision, and once you've got it captured, you can start to identify what are the key components to that. So this maybe includes something like family, maybe professional responsibilities or roles, finances, What does your downtime or self-care look like? Any other of those key components that are part of that vision. We'll talk about a couple opportunities at the end of our session to get that personalized support while crafting your vision. So once you have your vision and priorities identified from that vision, we then move on towards making choices that support that vision to minimize the day-to-day stress that we will inevitably face in our life, and how having resiliency plays into that. So, with building resiliency, this is where we have the ability to withstand or recover from challenges or even tolerate discomfort, because we all in kind of have a social norm of trying to avoid the uncomfortable at a pretty high cost. Um, Resiliency is something that we need as we are faced with choices each and every day as we move toward that harmony that we're wanting to achieve. This comes into play when we're faced with choices that maybe put one or two of our conflicts or priorities, excuse me, in conflict with each other. For example, maybe you have a work responsibility and a family commitment that you want to make both happen. When we have resiliency, we are able to make that choice in the moment with clarity, with confidence, being calm, so we can respond and accept the consequences of that choice, both positive consequences and negative, or even the delayed consequences that we might not notice today or tomorrow, but maybe we'll notice in the future. Another conflict of priorities might be family time and self care time. There's a number of things that we are going to face in our life of our priorities come in conflict with each other. But as we develop our resiliency, or that ability to withstand discomfort and recover from challenges, we're going to be more effective at making the choices in the moment that are going to lead us to our vision in real time. And setting up our day-to-day routines in alignment with our priorities allows us to minimize this potential for conflict to a degree. As always, life doesn't always work out as the storybook ending. So we should be prepared for priorities to come into conflict. But when we know what our priorities are, we can clearly assess our days, our weeks, our months to look at how we're finding harmony for those priorities throughout that time period. One tip I like to recommend here as well is keeping your vision and priorities available to you. So whether that's posted in your office, by your bathroom mirror, maybe it's written in a journal, anywhere close by to remind you, again, in those uncomfortable moments when you're maybe making a choice that feels hard right now, but you know is going to lead you closer to your vision. It reminds you why you're doing it and gives you that little boost to keep going. So, how does all of this work, right? Well, it helps us manage our stress. We're able to make those decisions when we see our vision, we know our priorities, and have resiliency. We can confidently make the decisions that are going to move us forward. This allows us to feel and experience that harmony that we're hoping to create and contribute to that well being vision that we talked about at the beginning. Again, think about where you're going to keep that vision and priorities posted so that way you've got it available. So, in those stressful moments, like I said earlier, you can manage that stress. You can be reminded of what those motivators are to keep you going. So, a couple questions to get us kind of wrapped up as we move forward today. Maybe take a moment to pause and reflect. How would you rate your current harmony or work life well being balance? Maybe rate that on a scale of 0 to 10. And as you're maybe assigning a number to it, what makes it that number? So, what makes your work life harmony an 8 versus a 3? Another question to reflect on is, what might you gain for yourself or your family or any of those other priorities that you listed by increasing or growing that work life well being harmony? What are some potential positive outcomes from prioritizing taking time to create that well being vision, to identify your priorities, and to grow your resilience? Other things to keep in mind as you're going. How might keeping these priorities top of mind impact your well-being? What other positive benefits might you notice? And if you currently rated yourself with, I'd say that 8, 9, or even 10 on having that work-life balance and harmony, what do you want to keep doing to maintain that level of satisfaction or even grow it? As you're reflecting, you can pause the video at any time and kind of give yourself more food for thought. Or we'll wrap up here by thinking about how we're going to take action. So, what might you like to try or explore regarding growing routines or creating rhythms and routines in your life that nurture your life, work life, well being, or harmony? As you're thinking about what you might want to try, think about what tools or support or even accountability you might need. Do you need someone checking in on you? Do you need to build a support system? Do you need a meal plan? What does that look like? Also, as you're kind of visualizing this or maybe writing a few notes, how would you measure success? What does success look like? Is it just trying something? Is it putting yourself out there to make a phone call? What does that look like? There's no right or wrong answer. It's what does success look like to you to move you toward your personalized vision? And I challenge you as you're finding clarity on that action step. Is there a way you can make it even more specific or make it a bit smaller to make it more attainable? So you have clear expectations for yourself, clear direction to move you forward. Again, take as much time here as you need to reflect and refine. And I hope you walk away with an action step of something you want to explore or continue to do as you grow your work life well being harder. As we're transitioning here, I encourage you to think about what are you taking away from just these 5 to 10 minutes of you reflecting on your well being. If you ever have any questions about your well-being journey or how we can support you, feel free to reach out to us at 605-370-8457. You can find us at our website at wellbeingconnections.org. Other opportunities for you to connect and have more support personalized to you would be signing up for a free exploration visit. It's a 60-minute one-on-one session with me where we get to get started, get you walking away with a plan to move you towards your ideal well-being, whether that's focusing on that harmony for work, life, and well-being, or something else that falls under well-being for you. And I'd love to invite you to our group coaching session starting March 12th at 12 p.m. via Zoom. That's 2025. You can visit our website for more details or send us an email. We can get you everything you need to get started. And as always, you can find us on social media, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube at Wellbeing Connections SD. I want to thank you all for joining me today. All the best.